My son, my Chima, they took you from me. They killed you for a crime you did not commit. Nduka, you took my heart and my joy. The haunting cries of Ihwoma pierced the stillness of the night, sending shivers down the spines of the villagers of Enbai. Her sorrow was a constant reminder of a tragic past that clung to the village like a shadow. As the moon cast eerie shadows, the villagers huddled in their huts, too frightened to investigate the ghostly wails. One brave villager, unable to bear the cries any longer, stepped out into the night. His heart pounded as he followed the sound, his lantern casting flickering light on the path ahead. "Who's there? Show yourself," he asked, but there was no response. The cries continued, echoing through the trees. Defeated and more terrified than ever, he returned to his hut, the unanswered cries of Ihwoma still ringing in his ears. Far from the haunted village of Nba, in the bustling city of Lagos, Enma sat with her brother Sam in a modest living room. Married for many years, Enma's life was filled with the piercing void of childlessness. Her mother-in-law's patience had worn thin, and whispers of her barrenness had turned into a relentless roar of expectation and disappointment. "What more can I do, Sam?" NMA sobbed. "I've tried everything, the doctors, the herbs, nothing works." Sam, her brother, sat across from her, his own burdens weighing heavily on his shoulders. His business was floundering, and each day seemed to bring a new crisis. Sam, distraught, says, "I understand, Enma. My business, it's like I'm cursed. No matter how hard I try, success slips through my fingers." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Fred, Sam's friend, and a devout Christian. Seeing the siblings in such distress, Fred's heart went out to them. "Sam and Emma," Fred says, "I know you're both struggling, but sometimes the answers we seek are beyond our understanding. I believe in the power of faith. Let's fast and pray together. Maybe, just maybe, we'll find some peace." Desperation drove NMA and Sam to agree. For 7 days they fasted and prayed, hoping for a miracle. On the 7th night, Fred had a dream. An angel appeared to him, its presence radiant and comforting. The angel said to Fred, "Go to the village of NBA with Sam and NMA. There, you will find the source of your troubles." The next morning, Fred recounted his dream to Sam and Enma. Though skeptical, they were willing to try anything. They packed their bags and set out for NBA, the village of their ancestors. Arriving in NBA, Fred was struck by the village's desolation. It was as if time had stood still. The fields lay fallow, the huts in disrepair, and a pall of hopelessness hung in the air. That night, as they settled into the family home, the eerie cries of Ihwoma filled the air once more. "What is that sound?" Fred asked Enma and Sam. Sam answered, "Legend says it's Ihwoma, the ghost of a woman who was wronged long ago. Her cries have haunted this village for years." "We must pray," Fred said. "Tonight, we will hold a midnight prayer vigil. This is so awful. It could all be connected." I had a strange feeling the moment I stepped into this village. As they prayed, Fred fell into a trance. In his vision, he saw the tragic events unfold. In a sunlit clearing, Chima and Nene walked hand in hand, their faces glowing with the joy of young love. But this idyllic scene was shattered when Prince Nduka, the arrogant son of the Igwe, set his eyes on Nene. He approached her and said, "Nene, you should be with me, the prince. Leave this commoner." Nene responds, "I'm sorry, Nduka, but my heart belongs to Chima. We are in love." Rebuffed and filled with jealousy, Nduka's face twisted in anger. He was not used to being denied anything he desired. Livid with anger, Nduka shouted at Nene, "If I can't have you, no one will." And so, Nduka hatched a cruel plan, paying a deceitful villager to frame Chima for the theft of a goat. The accusation spread like wildfire, and soon, a mob of village youth stormed Chima's compound. The leader of the mob leader shouted, "Chima, you are accused of theft! Come out and face your judgment!" Chima was dragged out of his home, his protests of innocence drowned by the angry shouts of the mob. Desperate, Ihuoma rushed to the Igwe's palace to plead for her son's life. But by the time she arrived, it was too late. Chima had been beaten to death without trial, his lifeless body left as a testament to Nduka's cruelty. Ihuoma was heartbroken. She kept on crying, "My son, my only son. He was innocent." Heartbroken and filled with righteous fury, Ihuoma pronounced a curse on the village. She said, "NBA village will not know peace. The men of this village will never be successful, and your daughters will be a laughing stock in their marriages." Not long after, consumed by grief, Ihuoma died, her spirit bound to the village by the injustice done to her and Chima. Awakening from his trance, Fred shouts, "I saw it all, the injustice, the curse. We must bring this to the village, and only through collective repentance and restitution can we hope to lift this curse." The next day, Fred and Sam gathered the village elders and the royal family. Reluctantly, they listened as Fred recounted his vision. The truth of Nduka's actions was like a sharp knife, cutting through years of denial and guilt. Fred admonished them, saying, "We must come together in prayer and repentance. The royal family must lead this, and there must be restitution for the wrong done to Ihuoma and Chima, or the sons and daughters of this village will continue TL anguish in poverty and shame." The village elders, including the current chief, a descendant of Nduka, realized the gravity of their situation. They agreed to hold a community-wide prayer and fasting session. Over the next few days, the entire village gathered, united in their plea for forgiveness. On the 7th day of their collective fasting and prayer, something remarkable happened. The oppressive atmosphere that had long gripped NBA began to lift. The cries of Ihuoma grew softer, and a sense of peace started to settle over the village. Fred, encouragingly, said to them, "We are making progress, but we must also make amends. The royal family should honor Ihuoma and Chima, perhaps with a monument." The chief nodded, tears in his eyes. "It is the least we can do. We will build a monument to honor their memory and ensure that such an injustice never happens again." As the villagers worked together to erect the monument, a transformation began. The fields, long neglected, started to show signs of life. The men found new vigor in their work, and the women began to reclaim their dignity. However, the villagers, driven by a newfound sense of justice, demanded more. They gathered in the village square, a murmur of determination rising among them. One villager named Okaro was particularly vocal. He said, "The royal family must vacate the throne. Their ancestors' actions have caused us immense pain for generations." Proverbs 29:2 says, "When the righteous increase, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan." We need new leadership, perhaps even from Ihuoma's clan, to restitute for the evil done to their sister and her son. The chief, understanding the depth of their pain, stepped down willingly. In a historic decision, the village elders chose a new leader from Ihuoma's clan, a gesture of restitution and a step towards healing. Back in Lagos, Emma's life took a miraculous turn. She discovered she was pregnant and months later gave birth to healthy twins. Sam's business flourished, free from the unseen chains that had bound it. The siblings, overwhelmed with gratitude, visited Fred to thank him. "Fred," Enma said, "we can't thank you enough. Your faith and guidance saved us." Fred smiled warmly. "It wasn't me, it was God's doing. Remember, what God cannot do does not exist. Why don't you join me at church this Sunday? Let's continue this journey of faith together." NMA and Sam nodded, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude, ready to embrace the future with renewed faith and determination. Thank you for watching this story from Tales by Amy. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to see more stories that expose the mysteries of life and the power of God. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. See you next time.